I was a one-man show for a product that was a side product in the company, the measuring machines. Nobody liked to touch them.
You know, sphericals within 210, and I did like 400 of them by myself.
Man.
You know,
Oh, wow.
Nobody else would touch them.
You're taking on a job and wanting to learn something no one else in the shop wanted to do.
Like the more things that you can actually learn and the more problems that you can solve, like every opportunity that you have to actually do something new. Oh man. We got the big man here at the table. What's up, Marcus?
Hey.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good, man. Texas.
Texas. Back in Texas.
Oh,
back in
man.
this beautiful facility. A little bit bigger than when I was here last time.
Yeah. And we got the Studer S31 with the beautiful paint job right behind you. We got the favorite. We got the Walter. We got the Monster Bloom that's arriving soon.
Coming, yeah.
Ooh, and
Looking
then
forward.
you put the camera right here. It looks so sexy.
Yeah.
So
That is a
good.
great paint job. It just looks so solid.
Yeah.
Right.
Customers love it. So
No doubt. Yeah,
Super
no
good.
doubt.
I think a lot of people don't understand that was actually hand painted, right?
yes, yep. It's not just put a sticker or something like that on. It's hand painted. Yeah. It's a job for
I
sure.
bet.
Oh, I bet, you know.
Yeah, it's a beautiful machine. And what's up, Chris?
What's up, Titan?
It's your first time on the podcast.
It's my first time.
Nice, man. Nice.
Hell yeah.
And then Keith,
Yep.
he
Back at it.
gets paid to talk, so it makes sense for him.
Why not be here? And I just love it. Industry, shop talk. I could do it all day. I love it.
Super good.
Hell
So it's been about probably close to a year since you've
Yeah.
been down to Texas to visit us.
It was a little colder back
Yeah.
then.
Man, it's
I
beautiful.
think we had almost freezing outside, but today
Yeah,
it's
it's probably beginning of the
couldn't
year.
be any better. Today is
Yeah, it's-
fantastic.
Beautiful day, and then
Yeah.
I saw you over at Emo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Met at Emo, which was great show.
yeah. You guys had an amazing booth.
Amazing
Beautiful.
booth. Man, that thing was
Yeah.
nice.
That is something else. I love that the video wall we have. It's a magnet. You know, a lot
It
of
is.
booth builders come by, even look at that, look at what we have there. They really enjoy it, and it's always awesome.
That's our partners for you, right? If you look at like your booth and Heller, I thought those two booths stole the show. I mean, honest to God, they were fantastic. You know, DN was huge, but that booth at United Grinding was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It was just it was large.
Yep.
And it was well put together. And one thing that I've always known about United Grinding, like since I started working with you guys, is like class act. Everything is done to the T's. Like everything is just on a high level. They think about the customer experience through the entire process of building everything. And like I always say, like when people come through our doors, we're gonna give them an experience that they've never seen before. But I'm a student of all these other companies and what they do great. And United Grinding, you guys do an amazing job.
Yeah, it's part of our culture. You know, that's what we've done for many, many years. You know, giving that customer experience a little bit at a little bit elevated level. I wouldn't say crazy, but a little elevated level. And I think the customers appreciate that too. I mean, of course, we never want to forget we are here to educate our customers. We're here to teach our customers new things. So, you know, that's the core, but how you pack that and how you make that look to the outside, you know, I think you have a lot of options there. And I think we always try to find a nice middle way between, you know, very classy, but also modern and, you know, technology driven, you know.
That's awesome. You know, enjoyed. We came up to one of the shows. It's how do you pronounce it? Miamisburg,
yeah.
Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Ohio.
Boom.
Nice.
Oh man.
Miamisburg.
Yeah, and then you guys have a beautiful facility up there, and enjoyed coming up there, and you guys put on a great show, and you guys have like your customers are everyone in this industry, as we always say, you know. They're just top notch, just good people. And so I just love meeting everybody up there, and your team is amazing. And I don't know if like it's United Grinding. I think sometimes there's some confusion because people are like, oh, Studer and Walter and Blohm and these different companies. But that, in an essence, is United Grinding, that you guys actually, it's like an umbrella, and you have, what is it, 8 companies that are under that umbrella?
Yeah, it's 8 different brands. We basically split it by technology, so we have 3 divisions. And I mean, these companies came together over time. I mean, all of them are old, like Studer's 111 years.
Wow.
You know, so that's the oldest one. And then we have, you know, different companies in the that came about. And United Grinding, you know, if you bring a lot of companies together, everybody has their own culture.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to try to get a little bit a common culture. And I think this is what United Grinding brought to the company. It's a base for everybody. We still leave the different companies their own culture that they can live by and stand by. But at the end of the day, you know, we're one big group and we have a lot of know-how in these different groups. We try to bring that together with United Grinding.
Fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so super good. And it was cool. When I was in Europe this time, so each time, like, I go to Studer, I go to different plants. And then this time, I actually went to Walter.
Yeah.
Hung out with Harry.
Yeah, Harry. I just talked to him this morning, and
That's
he says
awesome.
hi.
Awesome, man. That's super good.
Nice.
Yeah, tell him I said hi too, and he'll probably end up watching this. And
Yeah, he said
the man with the stash that gives Travis some run.
exactly. He said if he doesn't remember me, just tell him about the stash.
No,
That's
look at
good.
that. I remembered his name and everything. I
Yeah.
even took when we were having lunch, I took a picture and then sent it to you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
and he
I
was
remember that.
telling some stories about when you first started and stuff. So
Yeah, back
I know
in the day.
I know a
Back
lot
into that.
about you.
Yeah, I'm sure there's all sorts of stories about me.
Guaranteed.
Back in the day, man. But
Yeah.
That goes both ways, Marcus.
Yeah.
I know. You only
I
have
can
to
tell you a few of this guy.
I know. You only have to go on YouTube to find out about me. So good. We tell it all. But hey, so CEO,
Yep.
president of United Grinding Americas, that is a huge position. Congratulations, man. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what to say. You know, it's a job. I enjoy it. The title is big, but at the end of the day, I'm just part of a team.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you know, I have things I need to do, like everybody else in the company has things to do, their job, their responsibility. You know, I need to lead a little bit by example.
Sure.
Show people how you want to see it, how you want to work with customers and things like this.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, big title. But I don't feel like, you know,
Nothing.
I don't make the difference.
Yeah.
The people make the difference. The
There
team
you
makes
go.
the difference.
I think that's
So-
that's just a sign of good leadership, you know. And
Yeah, no doubt.
when you're part of a team, like
Yep.
it doesn't matter title, we all have work to do.
Yep.
And we come together, unify, common goal, common vision. Let's go serve the customer. Let's give them an
That is
experience they've never seen before. Let's give them a technology that's going to truly bring value to their lives, and not just sell them anything, but give them the right solution for the problem so that they can actually take care of their families and find success.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you work with your sales team, with your marketing team, with your
Yeah, I have basically different. I mean, right now I'm here with one of the sales teams. We have sales meetings. We talk about, you know, the next couple months. How is that looking like? You know, what are we doing? You know, what do we need to do? We talk about competition. We talk about, you know, technology. But we also do training, you know, how to handle a customer and, you know, interactions, you know, different things. Every meeting is a little bit different. And, you know, I mean, obviously it's also nice to travel around a little bit. That's
Sure.
why we're now in Fort Worth, Texas, which is, you know, nice, beautiful. It's something else. You know, other times we were in Miamisburg using our facility. Today we're here, and I think it's just great. Different culture, you know, here in town. You know, we were down in the stockyards and
Oh, nice.
Super good.
Yeah.
watched Longhorns, and it's just
Cool as
crazy,
heck.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Cool
all
as
the
heck.
people running around in their cowboy boots and cowboy hats, and reminding me a little bit of Bavaria. You know, people always think, oh yeah, Bavaria, people need to have lederhosen and stuff like this. Here you probably think, oh, Texas, cowboy hats and cowboy
Boots and
boots. You know,
belts.
that's, yeah.
Awesome. There's a restaurant that I actually took you to.
Oh, I
And
know.
then,
know.
yeah,
Great
our,
one.
our wives and all that. And then Lonesome Dove.
Mm-hmm.
Have you
Right
been
there.
there?
No, haven't been there.
Oh, we got to do it,
yeah,
man.
okay.
It is
You guys
great.
are there. I think you guys are there again tonight, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lonesome Dove
Lonesome
is
Dove.
amazing.
Mhm.
It is historical. Texans love it. And one of the cool things is they have like all kinds of cool dishes right from the appetizer. Like you want to know about food? Ask Big Boys because like I'm an expert already. No, but literally, you can get rattlesnake sausage right
Oh, wow.
right from the beginning. You know,
Okay.
they got all kinds of cool things. Kangaroo, like
Kangaroo.
and
Stuff you
and
won't
elk
get anywhere else.
and different things that you would never get anywhere else.
Totally.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it's so good. It's
Yeah.
just like I think it's I don't know how old it is, but it's
I think it's been there a while.
it's significant.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Super
Yeah.
great. Great
Cool.
experience all the way around. The waiters, the service is great. They're so friendly.
Mhm.
Food is amazing. The drinks are great. And it's right down in the middle of the stockyards.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Very
Yeah.
very nice
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, one of the nice things about doing these podcasts, we get to, interview some great people. And again, super great that you're here, Marcus. And some of the questions I love is, how did you cut your teeth in this business? Where did you start? Because we all have this thing that I always say that grabbed us, and then once you're in this industry, it's hard to not love it. It's hard not to love it. So how did you get started?
So, boy, that's a long time ago.
Oh,
so,
man, get out of here. You ain't that old.
same age.
Oh,
same
there
age.
you go.
So,
There you go.
so we're young.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll take that.
So I started. So in Germany, most people you have to kind of do an apprenticeship
Correct.
in order to get anything started in life.
Yep.
Honestly, so I went to. I did. So we have this different school system that we basically have. One goes to 9th grade, one goes to 10th grade, the other one goes to 12th grade, which is very similar to here.
Okay.
12th grade, but I did only 10th grade, and then I stopped there, and then I did an apprenticeship afterwards.
Wow. So you have that opportunity to do that. You
Yes.
don't have to. Okay.
You don't have to go to 12th grade.
Interesting.
So the schools are structured a little bit because somebody's stronger in learning, somebody's stronger in maybe just doing things mechanically, electrically, whatever.
Get them going in that direction.
Yeah.
Love that.
And so I got into that, and then I decided, okay, what do I want to do? And I did a internship at basically it's a municipality where they're drawing like houses and streets and things
Oh,
like that.
okay.
So
Like city planning.
yeah, like a civil engineering
Oh, okay.
office, but they approve the plans of civil engineers. So it's in the municipality, and I did my internship there, and I liked the drawing part. That's what I liked. And back in the day, we didn't have computers.
No,
You had
drafting.
actually, yeah,
No.
drafting
Yes,
and all that
right.
stuff. And, yeah.
I did that too.
So very different. And then I looked what kind of is in this area. And in the time I started, it was very hard to get an apprenticeship position
Got it. because
they had tons of people. So I just applied everywhere around, and I got a job, or I got an apprenticeship as a technical draftsman in. It was actually, the company was making food processing equipment.
Wow.
I said always, you put the cow in the end and the sausage comes out the other side. That's
Right.
pretty much how these machines worked.
Got you.
So we had that, and it was the first year was basically doing everything or the same thing that anybody else did. Like the mechanics did. So we were filing,
Wow.
and I was
okay.
running a lathe, and I was learning how to program a CNC machine. It was at the time a Deckel.
No way.
Yeah,
Deckel
so
model.
stuff like that, and that's the first year, and then the second year, then you go more in the drafting and things, and so you learn a lot about tolerances and accuracies, and you get the prints from the engineers, and they were not like nice prints; they were just like
Wow.
sketches, and then you came up with all I would say tolerances, upper lower tolerances, what kind of nuts and bolts to use, because you knew the strength of the parts and what to do. So I got into that. And then after that, I was finished with my apprenticeship. I knew I didn't want to stop there.
Interesting. It grabbed you.
I saw, there's so much more. And then I went to university and I studied industrial management.
Nice.
So I learned very little from a lot of different fields.
Very cool. Very cool.
And that got me into, I liked machine tools.
Yeah.
I liked that. So I applied for a job, got a job. And 3 months into the job, that was basically, I got a sales position.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, look at me.
Right on.
So
hang on that.
So yeah, getting into that, and then 3 months into it, they sent me off to the U.S.
Oh,
said, hey,
my
why don't
gosh.
you help my son building up the business in the U.S.? So went to the U.S. And I mean, we sold equipment like the Heimer presetters. We sold
Okay.
presetters, and I was basically traveling to all these manufacturing plants in the U.S. I had no clue. I mean, honestly, I was just I had
Knocking
no
on
clue.
doors.
Yeah, I was knocking on doors.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You find somebody. I remember I met a guy at BF Goodrich in Ohio at the time, and he kind of every time I came in there, he kind of got he taught me things.
Yeah.
He showed me around. He showed me this, that, the other. I learned so much from that one individual. It was really beautiful. I mean, it's just it's a big family.
Yeah.
I think manufacturing and. If you find somebody that helps you and that teaches you.
And there's plenty of those guys. That's what's great about this industry is same thing. When I came into this, I didn't have a background in machine tools, but it grabbed me, like I said. And all my customers, they all taught me, what it was like, how to machine a part, how to set up a part, why I'm using this cutter for this part, what this material is, and the makeup. And that's that you're right. This industry it's fantastic for that. People love to divulge the information and help you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I got into this, I left back to Germany, came again, left, came again. So I had my startup issues at the beginning. But, at one point, a friend of mine who worked with me at the company, who is now the CSO for Walter, he asked me, do you want to come back to the U.S.? We have these measuring machines.
Yeah.
Walter.
Hello.
Is that Harry?
No, that was Achim. I'm
Okay.
sure he's Harry. I got to meet Harry in the U.S. actually.
Got it.
So when I came, he was here as well. So it was. I mean, I got here, and at the beginning it was like funny because I was just here, and my old boss, he was the founder of Walter Grinders at the time. Very huge character. Dietmar Wesselin. A lot of people know him out there. I got there, and he, we negotiated on the phone about salary, and he's like, America's so cheap, it doesn't cost anything. You don't need all this money and this, that, the other. And I said, no, you know what? I've just been there, and I know what a pizza costs, and I know what this costs, and I think it's not that cheap, So we came to an agreement, and at the time was a huge decision because I had to basically say, I'm not having any vacation. Coming from a country where you have by law, 27 or 30 days vacation.
Yeah, right.
To zero.
To
was a big decision for me.
No doubt.
So did that, and then I started working there.
Was this what, early 90s?
That was, early
Early
90s.
90s, yeah.
And I was basically I was a one-man show at the time when I started for the company. So I started with Walter first, like, in 2000.
Got it.
And so I was a one-man show for a product that was a side product in the company, the measuring machines. Nobody liked to touch them. They're all, like, special, not grinding, But over time, I got to learn it. I got to enjoy it. I went out there, and I've seen so many things. I traveled basically 3 years pretty much straight. I would probably visit every state pretty much, maybe not Hawaii, but, many of the other states I visited, and it was just great. It was a good experience. And the great thing was I had input in the product.
Nice.
I could do service. I could do applications. I got to know the customers, and I've did phone support, and
so that's huge when you're going into a customer and you could service the machine.
Yeah.
You could talk to them about their application, and you could say, did you install the units too?
I did install them. Yeah,
Man, good on you.
Yeah.
That is a lot of hats, brother.
Yeah. So and I mean it gave me a good insight in the workings of a company.
Heck yeah.
So when you do all these different positions, you get to feel, okay, this is important here, this is important there. These guys, for them, this is important. Not everybody in the company has the same kind of triggers.
Sure.
And if you need help, you figure out after a while, oh, this is his trigger and this is his trigger, and then you get, quicker help. And then, and that's where I met Harry. So
nice.
Harry was my boss at the time, and when he left, he said, hey, you want to be, and this is kind of throughout my career, I was always at the right time,
right place.
At the right place, and it just worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you,
didn't do anything special to climb the ladder, but
I don't
it just
know.
worked out.
Yeah, it just worked out, and I always embraced the opportunity.
Yeah.
If something new came along, Harry left, it was, a technical lead. It was basically engineering, software, for the machines. Something completely different.
Sure.
But I mean, I just enjoyed it. I grasped it. I, worked with the people. I mean, the people that you work with, they always know much better what they're doing than you do.
100%.
You can, so you got to trust your team, but it's, again, it's about leadership. You bring them together. You grow together, and we had our successes, and I don't know, 3 years down the road again, somebody asked me, hey, this guy, he has heart issues, he's probably not going to come back, you're interested in taking over operations, and I'm like, I have, I don't know, so I had the engineering background,
yep,
but then to put the things together. And then also to work with people on the shop is something completely different than when you work in the engineering office.
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, in a company, there's different levels, and there's, different needs and different passions.
For sure.
And I think it was a good experience. Built machines for 3 years, and then, there was until 2007, and then the downturn came.
Started hitting in, yeah, no doubt.
You know that?
Yep.
And we decided, okay, you know what? The machine we changed basically from Bosch Rexroth control to like Andron, Andron control to Fanuc at the time.
Okay.
And we're like, should we still do this in the U.S.? Business is really going down. Numbers are going down. So we put everything back to Czech Republic in our facility in Czech Republic. And we only did accessorized machines in the U.S. So get a base model and accessorize it. So, and that got boring for me.
Yeah.
When you build a machine and you build it up and you start it and there is issues with it and the wiring is not right and you have to adjust parameters and make it perfect.
Solving those problems.
Yeah, solving those problems is exciting.
It is.
But if that's not there anymore and if it's just putting things together, and basically putting a plug in and that's it, that's not exciting anymore. At least not for me. I asked to be I wanted to go back with customers, and that's how I ended up in sales.
Good stuff.
So, and then I went through sales. So this is the kind of the story. And
well, that's fantastic. It's like we've all talked, right? There's levels of this industry that you
levels
can climb,
to the game,
and there are so many good. There's no ceiling. If you love it, you can go wherever you want in this industry. That's a great story. That's good stuff.
We were talking to a bunch of students yesterday. And they were awesome, and they're all doing the Titans of CNC curriculum, and they're up in New York. And I was like, they were asking me like what changed? What did you concentrate on, and all that? And I was like, solving problems. Like the more things that you can actually learn, and the more problems that you can solve. Like every opportunity that you have to actually do something new, put your hands on something new, learn from somebody new, and you see problems. A lot of people run from those problems, but the people that are successful, that actually make money in this industry and rise up, are the ones that actually attack the problems, understand that greatness comes from adversity, and then it's just a process. So let's figure it out and you figure it out.
Yeah.
And eventually people see you for that, and
No
they're
doubt.
like, hey, they actually know how to do that and this and this and this, and they always run to solve that problem. They're never running away. So let's give this person an opportunity. And
It's fantastic.
I think, for a lot of young people, I think that's like a key, and that's pretty much what you said, was that you learned a lot of different things and solved a lot of different problems. And by the time you went into sales, you knew enough to talk about all of it, which then when you're a leader, you have to be able to be knowledgeable
Got to.
about all of it, the vastness of it,
Yeah.
Which
So
is this industry vast.
Vast.
Oh, it's huge.
I always say, like,
So much knowledge.
there's all these different trades and stuff, but only like machining and CNC and the like has all the variables, and each one is stacked with millions of different tools and machines and everything. So it's like, to have a great understanding of what is great in that is a rare thing.
Yeah.
And
heck yeah.
that's when you're
I
when
agree
you
with you.
become successful.
Heck yeah.
And I think, sometimes I look back and all the things that I've seen and different manufacturing processes, products that came out at the end. And today I walk through the supermarket and think to myself, man, I wonder how they did that packing, and how did that happen in here, and how did that go? Because some of the stuff is just, even just making simple things like cardboard. When I've seen that the first time, I'm like, oh my God, this is like high speed, super complicated machining that, we're talking about, you don't see it when you get it, when you pick it up in the shelf and you put
No.
together and throw it in your recycling bin.
Cut, fold, bend.
It's and the speed, and then how much science goes in, like just putting how much glue you're going to put on,
Yeah.
to get this open,
Truly.
or to get it apart again.
Yeah.
For me, it looks simple when you don't know what's behind it. You never will think about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you're in manufacturing, you're like, oh, this is pretty fancy,
Yeah,
So,
good stuff.
yeah, so-
And that's another good little, just part of our business. When you get into it, you look at everything we do every day is made by a machine tool, everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you start, when you're into it, you're looking at planes, you're looking at cars, you're looking at watches, you're looking at, everything that is manufactured. And I love that
Yeah.
you could get so deep into how something's done, but that's it. Again, we do it every day, but people don't know that.
Yeah, for example, the new iPhone came out. Huh?
Yeah, the titanium
frame.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many more cutting tools would they need for that?
Correct.
Than for the prior phone.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, remember, what was the iPhone that came out? It had all the small holes in it. And I think Foxconn in China, they must have bought, I think it was like something around 30,000 robo drills for all the iPhones
Yeah.
to just drill all those holes
Yeah.
in those cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, so these are things that, for the industry that just, I'm in it for a long time, but I still appreciate it so much, seeing these things.
I love Joe Rogan had Elon Musk on again recently, and I haven't watched the whole
Shout
thing
out
yet,
to
or
Rogan.
listen. Yeah, I know, but it's like, I love the fact that Elon was there, and he was talking about design and stuff, but he was saying that that takes, like, that's easy. There are brilliant
Yeah.
people to handle that. It's the manufacturing. Those are the problems that we have to solve, and they're the biggest problems. And he was saying there's no shows on it, there's no movies on it, but to get prices down and the problems that you have to solve and the scale at which you have to manufacture to get those prices down, and then the lines and machines and workforce and everything that gets put in place, and then it can't stop for a second, to make money. And like, I just loved how he's bringing that respect to kind of like where Rogan's like, he doesn't even know anything
Nothing.
about it. Nobody knows anything
No,
about it. So
no.
you have somebody high profile that's actually doing something like that. And he's like, nobody makes the TV shows about it or anything. I'm like, hey.
Right over here. So there's a good question, right? Who's going to be on our show first? Is it going to be Rogan? He doesn't know anything about manufacturing. We
Oh,
can
man.
teach him. Elon, you've worked with SpaceX for years and years and done amazing parts for SpaceX. Or Bezos. We're doing work.
I actually
with
have
Blue now.
Elon's email.
There you go.
Huh.
Oh.
SpaceX email.
One of those three.
Yeah.
See who gets first.
One of them, I'm sure, is gonna love to talk about it.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
That's the great.
One day, people always say, "Hey, Titan, like Rogan would love you," and I'm like, I know, like being fighting, and then just what we did in the prison systems and education and
And you love
manufacturing and
UFC.
all of it.
God.
Love UFC and
Love
stuff,
UFC.
and I come from that world. But I'm just like, when I was younger, I was hustling, and I was just like, I thought I was ready for everything, and I was just like going after it. And now I'm just more like, cool. There's a timing, there's timing involved, and it's like, I'm just going to be mellow, and we're just going to keep changing the world and building our brand and rising on the levels. And then when the time comes, eventually we will talk. Like, I truly believe, like, we will talk to the biggest people, talk to presidents, talk to. I believe that we're going to have influence so big in manufacturing, but right now we're in that building phase. When it comes to high level CNC machining, there's nobody, not even 5% of the views in the platform that we have right now. And it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we get to partner with the greatest companies worldwide.
Yeah, and I mean, I told you many times before, I think what you're doing is great. Every time, what a lot of people don't see, I mean, you see the YouTube videos, you see, on Facebook or, the other platforms. What you don't see, or what I feel most people don't see, is the educational, the CNC experts, or the Grinding Academy. Because, I mean, look at all these videos. And look at all
200,000 current students.
Yes, and look at that. I mean, that is just amazing. I mean, we have 4 apprentices in-house, and I wanted to have apprentices in-house again because I have a hard time to finding new talent.
Yep.
For me, one of the best examples is, human hair is 50 microns.
Yeah.
Right.
We make parts within a micron.
Yep.
In order to do that, and he knows, you have to have a certain work ethic and also a work methodology. If you don't have that,
forget it.
You will never, ever be able to achieve that.
No doubt.
Because everything has to be right. Everything has to be perfect if you want to make that perfect part. So, and what we're trying to do in this apprenticeship is basically teach these kids from the start. And when I started with this, I wanted to do this with an outside company. And they told me, yeah, but everybody tells us, it needs to happen in less than a year.
Right.
And I'm like, this does not happen in less than a year.
Can't.
You need to, there's so many facets of this job that you need to understand. It's electronics, it's mechanics, it's accuracy, it's surface finish, I don't know, there's so many things that it takes time. And 2 years is a good time. And then you start in a job and you get good money. And, I'm so happy that we started this now. Next year, we're going to get the next 4. So we're going to have 8 in total.
Nice.
And then hopefully over time, we can grow this.
That's nice.
And there will be good years where we can take them all. And there will be not so good years where we can put them out in the industry. And I'm sure some of our customers will be more than happy to take them.
Absolutely agreed. Especially grinding, right? I mean, grinding is one of those dying breeds of the trade. We have machines, we got mills, we got lathes, we got, horizontal mills, but when you look at grinding, that is one thing that you go into a shop, and who's the guy in the grinder? It's probably one of the older guys in the shop. Hey, this guy here, I don't know why he's so young and knows so much, but
well, I had some very good mentors, man. A lot of my mentors, they were at my wedding. They were 57, and then the guy that actually trained me on a Studer was 67 years old.
See, there you go.
Yeah, he was, way past retirement, but he was there. I want to teach you because there's the same thing, same mindset. Is nobody's coming. Yeah. It's you.
Yeah,
this is you.
Yeah,
and I worked my way up, and like he said, there's steps to grinding, and if you follow them, you're good.
Yeah,
and that's what I love about it. Clean workspace makes good parts. The shop is phenomenal, and that really shows that this is a grind shop.
This was at Bell.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the guys down there showed me a lot.
I think that we haven't really talked too much about that Chris's experience coming from Bell, that he came over here and he's running a Studer S41, but he was at Bell Helicopters down the road running a Studer S41, and they ended up being supervisor and all that.
Yep.
So I'm never going to pretend to be the best at everything. We're going to bring in the right people that actually can run the machines and make perfect parts to print, because that's what we're about.
Former Marine.
Just got married.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, no doubt about it.
Just got married.
Yeah, we were all just at your wedding.
Yeah, Titan and Keith actually came to my wedding.
Oh,
so
nice.
out of the shop.
Awesome.
And then I saw how far he drives to work. He's out in the country, man.
I think it's like 77 miles one way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
He could listen to some podcasts.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
Super good.
But now, I started on, I think, like an old Norton manual grinder that had still had the Machine of War sticker on it.
No kidding.
Yeah, it still had like the eagle on it.
That's
and
crazy.
Put it on there. And at first I was just doing like super finish and then like super small grinding chamfers or grinding a radius, blending a radius.
Yep.
Not showing, but like dressing in a wheel with the radius with gauge blocks and a mic and all that.
Yep.
And then I moved over to a Studer Lean Pro.
Wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's why we got
Mark is like, I know that machine.
That thing was also green, wartime green.
Yeah, one-time green. It was, back in the day. Yeah.
And so when we got the favorite in, I was like, oh, this is like the Lean Pro. And they're like, nah, that's a favorite. And I'm like, oh, okay, same thing though, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You say so.
Yeah. And then after that, I proved myself on a Lean Pro. And then I was lucky enough, same thing, I kind of just fell into it. They were like, hey, this kid is doing really good. He's holding, sphericals within 2/10. You grind a spherical, you dress that radius into the wheel, and then you bring it over and you grind that spherical into the gear. And I did like 400 of them by myself.
Man.
Nobody else would touch them. They're like, we're not running that part. And absolutely not. And all it was this little bitty, looked like a sprocket. It was like maybe a half an inch longer or something, and you would blend that radius, and every couple parts you had to get it checked, and nobody else would run them. And I'd go in there and I'd indicate it in on a magnet, and boom, there it is.
Just like we talked about, you're taking on a job and wanting to learn something no one else in the shop wanted to do, and look at you now.
Yep. And then they had this. I remember they had this one fixture. You would indicate it in with bolts. So you would run the face with the indicator, and then you would have a bolt and you would have to tighten it. But if you tighten it too much, then it would do this. And
no way.
Oh, it was
pain in the butt.
It was pain in the butt. But, yeah.
So did you grind in service? Did you learn?
I've been grinding all my life.
Have you?
Right?
Yeah. I love it.
No, I was on a 0311 in the Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps. So I was in the infantry.
Nice.
So, but the Marine Corps and a lot of the military branches actually has machining and 3D printing.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, and I wish I would have had a chance to know that. You know, but I was a young kid trying to just escape, trying to get out.
Yep.
And I went to a recruiter and I said, "What you got?" And he said, "This." I said, "Cool, I'm out."
Jump in.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I had my mom and dad sign my papers, and I left at 17, and really did okay.
Well, I think I heard Marcus say it, but yeah, thank you for your service, brother.
Oh yeah,
thank you, of course. And then one thing that when you applied for the job and we started talking, you had actually done YouTube videos before,
right?
And I could, at the beginning, you wouldn't talk, so you're barely even speaking. So I was like, what's he doing on YouTube? But you were actually showing like Marines how to fire weapons and shoot.
Yeah,
Very
like
cool.
my last, I think it was like 9 months. I didn't have enough time to go on another deployment.
Okay.
So what they did was the Marines that don't have enough time to go on another deployment, they change them to these other jobs.
Okay.
And one of my buddies, his job was to literally raise and lower the flag every day.
Oh man, get out there.
Yeah. So and then I went to what's called MTU, Marksmanship Training Unit, and I was teaching other Marines and all the way up to like the highest level. And how to like fire the M16, the M4, the M9 Beretta. And then we had in the shop I was at, we had every weapon system the United States Marine Corps had. So we had from the pistol to rocket, every man-made weapon system. And so we would do like classes or something, and like I'd be showing somebody this, and they would be the one to trigger. and I'd be like, all right, this is how you're gonna adjust it, blah 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 blah, and then I could get somebody on target with like 4 rounds.
Yeah.
No way.
I used to be able to do that. Yeah, they'd shoot and I'd look and be like, whoop whoop whoop. All right, you're on.
Done.
And then be done.
So you had some background already. You came here with a little acting.
It was nothing like this. We definitely didn't have these nice of cameras. But yeah, it was super cool. And then, like Titan said, I'm pretty reserved. I'm pretty quiet, you know. And
He came in, and then he's just like, it comes time for his first job that he's going to actually run on the Studer. And he's barely saying anything, and I'm giving him pointers, and we're talking about it. And I like the whole idea about it. But as soon as the cameras went on, I think he was worse than Donnie.
Oh, really?
Like it was just like all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, so you just do this and this and you put it in here and you spin this and you keep spinning this and you do this and you come over here and you do this and you flip around this way and you do this way and literally everybody loved him on that first video. You could see it in the comments. They're like, dang, this guy knows a lot because of how fluent he was in his explaining and how systematic it was, and he just never stopped. And he hasn't stopped talking since then.
There you go.
Except when he's over here on the United Grinding gaming
chair
platform
chair, right behind you.
Yeah, with the core panels.
Oh, I know.
Hooked up, remote.
I heard it got taken over when I was out on vacation. A lot of the editors were in there. Yeah, that's all right. Super nice chair.
That is good stuff.
Super good.
So, how many of the United Grinding group? How many of their lathes? You've got the Studer, you got the Walter, with the Bloem's coming. You ever been in front of a Bloem?
Just the one that was here. So
okay,
yeah, it's just the XP. I think it was the Bloem XP.
Okay,
yeah, but all the surface grinding I've ever done was manual.
Got it.
Manual surface grinding.
Got it.
But no, I'm excited for that Bloem. They say 1.5 inch depth to cut.
Come on.
They say that's what we'll do.
That's what we're going to do.
And you know what we're going to do?
I know what you guys going to do.
Take that thing down.
Right. Well,
I love it.
Last year it did 1 inch.
We grinding a American flag in one shot with a little deeper.
Hello. Good call.
Yeah. That video that Jesse did was insane.
Yeah.
Like he did a great job on that.
Yeah, he did.
So good.
Beautiful part. When you walk over here, you can see it. It's just, and it is just like perfect still.
Chris got a good one with that glass end mill, right? That thing lit up.
Yeah, that thing was super nice.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little earlier. It's so tight and right. He's got this way of understanding the we talk about all the time the algos of what the platforms we put on, and he's like, no, that's gonna murder it. That's gonna great. You brought it. You could tell the story.
Chris,
I'm butchering it.
We always look at different ideas, and a lot of them I'll bring up, or the machinists will come up, and I try not to hurt people's feelings, but within the first second, I know if it's going to be a winner or it's going to be a loser. You know what I mean? And then you got to package it, the thumbnail. You can have the best video in the world, but if you don't have a great thumbnail that intrigues people to want to actually click into it, then nobody's going to watch it and it's going to die.
Yeah.
But as soon as he came up and said, hey, I have this idea to do a glass end mill, and I literally just looked at you and said, that is going to get a ton of views, because I'm intrigued as a machinist. And that's what people don't really understand. And I when I talk to the editors and I talk to different people, I'm like, you have to get to know our viewers, our community, because machinists are so particular. They have an obsession for perfection. They're gonna call you out if you do it wrong. They don't care about all the fluff. So sometimes when you do a thumbnail that is so fantastic, it won't get views because they're like turned off by it. They want to see the realness
the
about
nuts.
it.
The
Even
nuts
when
and
it
bolts.
comes to music, it's sometimes like if you hear a car engine run like you don't want to hear like with rock music, they're like, let me hear it, and that's how it is with the machine. So it's like, let's hear the machine, let's do this and stuff.
It's a great call.
When it came to different ideas, I look at it, but then when it came to the glass end mill, I was like, would it work?
Yeah.
Like, and it's as simple as that. Is it possible? Like, if you did it right and it was true and spinning, like, could you cut something?
Right.
You know? And I thought, oh, what a great way to run a machine and actually grind glass that is super brittle and would want to break. So in one way, it's an art to just grind glass, period.
Yep.
And then can it actually cut? So I was intrigued, and I thought, hey, just a video saying we machined or grinded a glass end mill. It intrigues.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It was great.
Super good. And you killed it. Millions and millions of views.
Thank you. We'll get the 1-inch stock and try it again.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Get out.
Now you're going to be like, now Jesse went 1 inch.
Yeah, right.
But now we're going 1 1/4. Like, we're taking it deep.
You're going to have to do what Marcus said, though. You're going to have to get rubber and see if it, no more wood. Go with the rubber.
It made one chip in the wood.
It made one chip.
I was like, oh, there it is. Oh, man, it's gone. It's gone, yeah.
Too brittle. Too brittle.
Yeah, so
Right.
good.
Right. Exactly.
I wanted to jump back. Like, now United Grinding, now I've gone to many different facilities, and each one they have apprenticeship. They have a great apprenticeship. They literally solve their own problems by hiring, like by training up these kids, and the programs are great. And one of the reasons that I actually focus on it in our videos when we do shop tours is I want like America and other countries to understand the importance of it.
Correct.
You know? And you were just talking about your 4 apprentices. That's a brand new program that you actually just put together.
Yep. Yeah, it's a brand new program. A lot of people always tell me, how do you justify this? I mean, there is cost. We pay these young kids, I say now.
Sure.
I mean, young man,
Yeah.
women.
Anybody 30 or under is a kid to me.
No doubt. Exactly.
We pay them, when they're in school. We pay them on an hourly. Very important for me was that they have a degree after the 2 years.
Very cool.
So that's why I pushed basically the gentleman that's responsible in our operations for that he works with the university, so we make sure they have an associate's degree when they get out of it.
Excellent.
Because even if they don't stay with us, at least they have something for the rest of their life.
Good call.
They have something that
like
they
that.
can show off. Similar, that you have you showed me today the pictures with the the parts in the case, which is, I mean, that's showing something, and the same as if you have a degree, And so for me that was very important, and we put that together. It's amazing, all this material is available. I mean, all these there's multiple German companies. You can just order it. You get it in English. They send you the raw material. We got workbenches. We got the tools for it. They package it. They send it to you, and we just set it up in our
amazing.
In our shop floor. So we cleaned out an area of our shop floor because I want them to be on the shop floor with everybody else, and see what we're doing as well, and and on and off to help, with other tasks. But they built a little, a pencil holder, or they file, a hammer, or things like this. They do different things that they learn over time, and I think it's exciting for them. It goes step by step, and at the end of the day, they have a challenge where it's almost like a CNC machine. It's like one axis, with a ball lead screw and a slide on it, and the PLC, and they need to troubleshoot it, and they need to figure out how to make this work. So this is basically what our guys do almost on a daily basis, and that's how they learn, and that's how they also learn the accuracy, because, I mean, you should have seen them at the beginning filing. I mean, it's probably the most boring thing ever,
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to make something accurate, you have to learn that this, how's the metal acting?
That's right.
How do you make this straight, If your motion is not straight,
it ain't gonna go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
That's
So I think it's just teaching them that. And in Europe, this is normal,
Yeah.
And the crazy part for me is I talk to people that we have in the company like for 35 years. Back in the day, this was normal in the U.S.
It was. And now we have
Tons
no
of
apprenticeships. None.
Tons of companies had this as a
Knowledge of manufacturing was common in the U.S.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. And so whatever happened, I mean, seems like we found services more important than making things. You know, that's gone. And I mean, we just try to bring it back as much as we can. I mean, you know, we cannot help everybody, but I think everybody can help themselves.
No doubt.
I mean, I'm more than happy. You know, if somebody asks me, hey, what did you do? How are you doing this? Come to us, sit down with us. We're more than happy to talk to you about it, help you even, you know, set up maybe an apprenticeship in your company.
Beautiful.
If you want to know what we did, we give you all this information. I'm more than happy to share. It's no problem. I mean, I think it's good.
And I think it takes that leadership to understand we need that again. You know, two of my great friends that I had in the industry went through the apprenticeship at United Airlines, and two of the best machinists I've ever met in my 30 years of selling machine tools. And they were there in the 80s, and they started a shop there shortly after. And then I've talked about them before, but Hamilton Company up in Reno, Nevada, my buddy Phil Linscheid, he started an apprenticeship, 24 people under their first apprenticeship program. They sent them across the street to Truckee Meadows Community College. They put them through school, teach them. Without those, like you said earlier, they're taking people. They said, we're going to start you out at X wage. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have any experience in this industry, zero, and we could come in and teach you machining. And they start at the basics.
I don't think that people... I wanted to comment real quick when you just talked about like what happened and stuff. It's crazy that I just got like tweaked on it because I was just like, you know, you see these politicians and they're just, we've sold our work out and we made it so easy for people to go make parts in other countries while our prisons and, you know, people have no opportunities and the prison rates rise. Manufacturing's like dropping at the same rate, same angle, opposite. And then you have these politicians now that have no idea what CNC means. And they're like, China has so many millionaires now and they're coming on vacation and we need to like build up a service for them, you know, to like for when they're on vacation. And like, that's the attitude now and stuff. And we've lost it.
Forget it.
And people just, they cannot comprehend that there's a huge part of our society of people that were born to build things, as you mentioned early, with their hands, and that's how they're wired. They're not wired for service. Not everybody's wired. That's why Hawaii, where I was raised, has one of the biggest drug problems and incarceration problems per capita in the entire state. 87+% recidivism. If you go to prison, like you go back, and it's because there's no manufacturing and it's 100% service oriented.
No,
it is crazy. They're building prisons in Arizona. They built prisons in Arizona and Texas because there's so many inmates, which I came up through that system, you know. But it's like, if you get serious about it and you have great companies that realize how easy it is, it's never been easier to actually efficiently and without putting out a lot of money, create apprenticeship programs for your company and train them the way you want. If you're a grinding company, then Marcus is telling you that they will share their information with you. They will share the plan with you. Not only that, but United Grinding has actually partnered with Titans of CNC to create the Grinding Academy. And that is something that is already 2 to 3 years old, that is growing by the day and is going to keep coming up, where it's like, you want to learn about wheels, you want to learn about grinding, you want to like tool grinding, cylindrical grinding, all of it, surface grinding. We're going to teach you all the fundamentals. We're going to go through it. Chris is a huge part of that, you know, but we wouldn't be able to do it without United Grinding. So thank you. And now a lot of people, like you have like customers that say like, hey, I actually bought a Studer and they pointed me, and then it's all right here. I learned programming, how to go through the controls, how to do all of this. And
another good friend of mine, Brian Coklage at CGI in Carson City. I'd been here only a week. He knew I'd seen him the month before I was leaving, told him what I was doing, and then he calls me a week while I was here. He said Studer or United Grinding told me call Titan about the Titan Grinding Academy. Gave him the link, rolled through it, and he said everything from start to finish is on there. And
we're just making it bigger and bigger and bigger. Great. But And on the machining side, it's like if you want to, teach CNC machining, there's no easier way to learn it than Titans of CNC. We give you guys the models, we give the prints, the setup sheets, the inspection documents. We teach you the entire process. We give you the videos for how to design it, program it, actually machine it. Full setup. You get a 5-axis machine, full setup, exactly how to do it. This is the checklist that you go through to set up the machine. There's a video attached to every single thing if you don't know how to do it. And teachers, leaders, anybody, like, don't be scared. You can jump right in, use our stuff. Because of our great partners, we literally give everything for free. There's not a charge. There's 200,000 students currently. Some drop off, some come. It's ever evolving, but we're now over 200,000 current students, and we just became the #1 curriculum for high schools in the state of Michigan.
Baby.
Nice.
Super
Shout
awesome.
out to Gabe Couillers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Stud up there.
Super good. So then they actually, that was actually an awesome thing. They actually went out to the entire workforce that they have and basically sent this, it's kind of like they put 13 different curriculums to them. They said, based on your company and who you hire, what curriculum should we be using? And 95+% said Titans of CNC.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, super cool. And now more states are like stepping up and stuff.
Yeah.
So like any company right now, whether it's 1 student, 2 students, or more, they can start their own apprenticeship program for free.
Good
right
call.
there.
Exactly. Yep.
Good call.
Boom.
And that's what I say. This is for me the most undervalued piece. I mean, people ask me always, why do you partner with Titan? I mean, some of the
they're just jealous because they can't.
Yeah, and some of the videos, some people, are critical about some of the videos and this and that, the other. And I said, it's one thing if he makes a video about this, that, the other. But I mean, the educational part, there's no criticizing on that.
Zero.
This thing is something that nobody else has done, and it's there, and it doesn't cost anything. And I mean, it's such a value for, anybody who's interested.
100%.
That I don't even know. That you cannot put money on that. It's something that it's just. If you want to start your own company and you have no idea about CNC, you can do that.
You surely can
do that. I mean, it's not even a huge investment at the beginning. I mean, you can just buy a used machine, start out, learn how to do that, get it. And I mean, I cannot tell you how many times we are looking for companies that make like high precision fixturing and things like this. There's not too many people out there
doing it. Yeah.
So I mean, if somebody wants to start out with that, I think there is a lot of opportunity in that.
Yeah, good call. I think you need to tell the story while we're on that subject. We talked about it this morning, but to me, I still think, again, I've been here about 100 days. I've known Titan for 20 plus years. These are conversations we've had for 20 years. But the story when we were at Blue is pretty incredible. I mean, these guys came up to you. We did about 8 hours of filming at Blue. There was an hour meet and greet at the end of this that the employees could come up. He was shaking hands and taking pictures for like an hour. And this kid came up and told you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's great.
We say kid. He was probably, probably 24 or something.
He's a kid.
Yeah.
You said under 30.
It was cool. I'll start like saying like, Marcus, like, by now, anybody that walks through that door and actually sees what we're doing, they walk out inspired and amazed, and we're best friends for life.
Completely.
And they tell everybody about it. A lot of people, because they can't comprehend, because that's not how they're built, they try to figure out what we're doing. They don't quite understand it. And then they think social media is like, for kids. And then they're like looking, and they might see one video where, we run at 2,000 inches a minute through steel, or just do something crazy. And they see that one video and they're like, what is he teaching everybody? But they don't understand that we have full part tutorials. We have complete education. We do so many different levels. But sometimes I always tell people, like Morpheus from the Matrix, like machinists, I'm just trying to open your minds.
Nice.
And you're over here running an end mill at 60 inches a minute, thinking you're going fast in steel because you used to go 30 inches a minute. And I'm going to put in an end mill, and me and Barry are going to go run that thing at 2,000 inches a minute, and people freak out. And I'm like, your machine can't even do it. But it didn't break.
Yep, it didn't break.
And if you think you're running fast at 60, and time is money, and the profit that you're making is based off the times of the parts that you've programmed and done it, and you're doing the same old way, and you're not changing things, you're not having an obsession to actually just keep perfecting that process and try new tools and do these different things, like, you're holding your company back, and that's a cancer in the company. But I'm going to show you something that is so far beyond anything you can comprehend. And by showing it, I'm just going to give you the confidence to say, you know what? It's possible.
Yep.
What if I'm running at 100 inches a minute? If I go 4 times during the roughing process, and the roughing process is 80% of all of the machining, then I'm making money.
Yep. Exactly.
And
time is money.
And that's the whole thing here. It's like, you know, you have to entertain the vast majorities and hit everybody and do different things. And sometimes, I mean, one time people criticized, we cut a vise in half.
Right.
It was a Chinese knockoff vise.
And
it had, like, the tool had 65 inserts, and it was cool. Like, it was cool. And everybody's laughing and everybody's having fun. And sometimes you just got to, like, have fun, you know?
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, with over 1,600 videos on YouTube, you're talking about precision work holding. Just look up fixturing and Titans of CNC. There's nobody out there that has put the type of content, real fixtures, real problem solving techniques, how to fixture hundreds of parts, what to do before you can even afford automation. These are ways that you can actually run 100 parts on a 3-axis machine and make money and walk away from a machine. And instead of, like, having a 2-minute runtime, you got an hour-and-a-half runtime, because you're running a ton of parts with these little things that we teach you how to build all these different things. So there's a ton of knowledge there. And when we were at Blue Origin, it was humbling. There's a video coming out, and it's going to blow people's minds in a few weeks. We're the first ones to ever film the entire engine machine shop at Blue Origin, and it's going to be insane. And it was an honor, not only that we have such a history with that company and know leadership and all that, but it was an honor that at the end the machinists wanted to come say hi, and then they were lining up and we were taking pictures and we're talking, and on that level they only hire great machinists, no operators. They hire great machinists, and when on that level, each one not just shaking your hand, but saying, I learned so much from your videos.
Yeah.
I literally, I'm self-taught, and I learned from Titans of CNC on YouTube and on the Academy, and hearing that. And we had this one kid, this young guy, come up, and he's like, did you meet my dad? I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I just met like 1 million people. I'm like, I'm not sure, but I hope I did, you know? And he's like, oh, I got to tell you this quick story. And he's like, me and my dad were actually laid off of work. We had no work. We were living off of food stamps. And then we came across your video. We binged watched the videos, watched every video. My dad got inspired, actually went to Blue, sold himself to Blue. We both got hired. And he's like, we went from food stamps to Blue because of you, Titan.
That's so
and
great.
Like, I was like, that is crazy.
That
I
was
love that
awesome.
story. And then I told one of the top guys, he's like, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. What a crazy story.
And we were walking on air leaving there, because it does.
Sure.
You know, you hear those stories so frequently, and then they, you know, again, hit home. Like, I left a great position in California, and I said, there's a purpose that I'm coming. I love this industry so much. I love it. I love it. It's in me, a passion for it, and that's why I'm here in Texas. I loved selling machine tools, loved my customers, but then, like Titan said, there's one guy I'd leave all that for, and I came to Texas.
Oh man,
damn,
boom,
absolutely,
so good.
Yeah, man.
The vision's always been big, and having you over here, it wasn't like, hey, Keith, let's go just make a bunch of money.
No,
it's like, Keith,
let's help this industry.
Let's
elevate it.
Right off. My wife knows I'm never going to retire.
Nope.
I'm going to be bugging these guys when if I'm 80, I'm here, like, I'm loving it, But at the same time, it's like, hey, Keith, remember what we dreamed about, changing the industry? We're literally doing it.
Yep.
And man, I'd love to have you by my side, and why not finish your career changing the industry, doing all the things that we talked about when we were young. Let's go do it.
Yep.
And he sold his house, picked up everything, making a killing in California and having a great life, and being on auto. He walked away from everything and boom, walked over here, man. Came to Texas. Now he lives 3 miles from me.
And exactly. But then like this, I got to meet Marcus at Emo, and we got to share a little bit of time, and then again hanging out here, and just I love the story. I love how you came in through the industry, and hearing those things from people like you. I told Titan, he's got a big footprint. I had a pretty big footprint. But it's only going to expand it, and that's what I love, is hearing the stuff about the people in the industry and how we can make this better together, because no one should be worried about what you're doing. They should only be helping us get this industry going in that direction. Yeah.
And then we talk about, training and apprenticeships and college and all these different things. But I think that this podcast is like a blessing, because we get to have Marcus on here. You get to talk to real individuals that are leaders in the field. You get to hear about
100%,
like what they care about, what they did to actually solve the right problems, to walk up the right paths, to actually not only change their lives, but change their employees' lives and companies' lives and customers and all of it. And that's just gold, man. I love this trade so much. I just love meeting people, talking to people, hearing their stories, just all of it, man.
Agreed.
Same here. And every day, like when you go out, you go to a customer, you visit them, there's so many great stories out there, and you see what people are doing and what did they, how much blood they're putting in there,
Fully.
blood and sweat to make things work. And the industry can be stressful.
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt about it. There's deliveries.
I think they used to have a rating, and I think it was rated the most one of the most stressful jobs. Yeah.
But it's also, sometimes I try to explain people why I like this industry so much is, there's a satisfaction of making something. So for people that are not so much in the manufacturing industry, if you have a home project, doesn't matter what it is, and you make that and it's finished afterwards, and you look at it, you're pretty proud of yourself. You're like, wow, this is this is pretty awesome. Doesn't matter what it is, how difficult or how not difficult it was. But if you go back, this is what manufacturing is every day.
100%.
Every day. There's a challenge. You need to get something done. You need to think about it. You want to change it. You make it. Talking about tolerances, for example, they get tight and tighter.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, how are we going to make it? But you always find ways.
Yes, you do.
It takes time. It takes patience. It takes, sometimes you have setbacks. Then you go forward again. And at the end of the day, we reach that target. And how much prouder can you be of making this part to that accuracy, in the time that promised the customer or whatever. I think it's great.
And then to know it's going on an airplane, it's going in a medical device, it's going in a robotic medical device. It's going in a car. I mean, what you're giving back to society, and what those parts are used for on a daily basis. That no one ever, like we said, no one knows. No one knows what that is. No one pays attention.
Aerospace is one of our big, industries. Every time I sit in a plane, I look out to this. I look out to this engine, and I'm like, I trust this thing.
Yes,
it's made on our machine.
You got that right.
Precision.
So,
Yes, sir.
Super good. Super
yes,
good.
Sir.
When you were just talking about the feeling of making things and all of that, it made me think of a program that we highlighted on autistic students with autism, and how machining changed their lives. Like the government will will pay you to babysit your child for life, and it's one of those things that it's like, there's a thing that people say with severe autism, and it's that you pray that you'll live one day longer than your child, even if they're old, because nobody will take care of them like you will. You know? But I think that there's this thing where they feel like you have to do this, you have to babysit. They'll never be able to like really have a life for themselves, and they don't fit in and different things. And yet we highlighted that because it's a computer, because it's repetition, because you're building things, because you're making things, and because you're judged based on what you can actually make, you know what I mean? And these different things that
it's cool.
That people with autism actually thrive. They're uniquely abled, and they actually do great in this industry and stuff. So I just say that because I'm always trying to plug, because people, I think that's like a great thing for us to have more programs for autistic, because like you said, there's nothing like manufacturing, because you're building something, you solve the right problems. At the end of it, you have this feeling of accomplishment because it was hard, because you had to go through adversity to actually build it, and that brings confidence, and it brings confidence to everyone. Anyone who touches it, it is an absolute gift. And as a country, as a great nation, we have to fight for manufacturing, to bring awareness to it, to bring education, more education, to make people know. And if you're in Germany, you guys already do a great job, but all over the world, people are forgetting, and you have other people coming into power that see shops as just these buildings. They don't understand the lives that are inside there, each one with their own story, their own niche of how they actually made something different and carved out this life, and that takes care of their families for generations and stuff. So we just got to keep, no matter where you are in this world, you need to fight for your manufacturing, to put your own people to work to make your own products, and you can do it because of the technology that's available today. And with grinding, there is none better, period. As you said, some of these companies, hundreds of years old, over 100 years old and stuff, and just like an umbrella of like the best companies, and that is United Grinding. And Marcus, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the time. It was great hanging out. He has a whole team over here working and stuff. So like you and your team, man, thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Great having you, bud.
It was great to be here again, and always love to be here. Love you guys. Great job. Continue what you're doing.
Thank you, man.
Right back at you.
Boom.
Having you.
Boom.
Boom. All right. We're out.